Hello, partner. Welcome to a new episode of the Just Gaming Tingz Podcast. Yo.
Got the yuck.
Hello, partner. My name is Project Ruby, and you're watching Just Gaming Tingz. Yo.
Welcome to Disney Channel.
Welcome on in. Joining me, we have the lovely, iconic, legendary Ruin Crown. Hi.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be back on this country podcast about video games. Such a pleasure to be here.
This is a country podcast about...
This is our southern take on video games and what's wrong with them. We just wiped away our tears before, we both were like, okay, let's wipe away our tears before we do this, and
Absolutely.
Here we are.
Yeah, I was telling Ruin about my country accent that is very much something. And I was like, should I do the intro like that? And Ruin was like, go ahead, Diva, sure.
Hop off, Diva. Let's get that. Let's continue that voice acting career. Let's show your range. Ruby, she's got the range, okay? She's got the range, mama.
she's got something.
I love it.
Oh my God. But it's wonderful to be here with you, wonderful listeners and watchers and viewers, not watchers.
Viewers. The readers, because this is obviously a...
Yeah. Owned by the New York Times.
Yes.
No, we're not. Not yet. You know, listen. First it was Wordle, and then we're right at the bottom of their list to acquire.
We're getting up there. We'll claw the ladder again. We'll claw up the ladder again. Might be broken, but we'll get up there, girl.
Might be broken, partner.
Our nails might be cracked and chipped, but we're gonna get right back up there. I tell you that.
Sora's clown shoes may be off, but I'm still here. Yo.
Not the clown shoes.
Okay, we need to stop. We need to stop. We need to start actually podcasting and doing gaming things. So Ruin, what's up with these ding dong games expiring on the ding ding store of the girl?
You know what, girly? I'll tell you what's happening. So, expiration dates on games. We never thought we would have seen this happening ever. But Christopher Foose, I'm going to say Foose. I don't know if it's Foosey, but
Not Foosey.
We don't need another.
Right on my foosey.
You right on my pussy. Oh, he's going to love that. We'll be tweeting this clip to him right after this. Christopher Foosey brought, gosh darn it. Now I'm saying pussy.
That's the one. We're committing to it.
Christopher Foosey, he decided to tweet the other day when he went back on his PlayStation 3. He wanted to play Chrono Cross, and he discovered that he could not play it because Sony/PlayStation put an expiration date on the game. Does anyone want to guess the year that the expiration date was? Would you like to guess? Take a guess, Ruby?
I think it might have been 2069, but I'm not sure. Was I right?
The expiration date was 12/31/1969. You got the 69 right, girl.
I actually forgot it was 69.
It sure was. 12/31/1969, years before the founding of Sony and Well, I don't know about Sony, but PlayStation. They decided to expire these games to where users have not been able to download them again if they happen to delete them from their library or play them. from what it seems. This also, it comes to a bit of a shock, especially with the recent release of the Chrono Cross Dreamers remasters Lady Gaga Pink vinyl edition of the game. And people kind of feel like they're pushing them towards the remaster. You know, spend your money on this game again, although you already spent your money on it probably twice or three times after. If you bought the game originally, and then you may have bought it digitally on two separate systems. If you got money like that, and if you got money like that, please call me. But this is not the this is not the only game that people have come across that they've put these expiration dates on. They've also put this on Final Fantasy VI, which we all know the Pixel remaster recently released in February. Final Fantasy Origins, which I believe had 4, 5, and 6 on it. War of the Lions, I think that's Final Fantasy Tactics, correct? Yes. And then Rune Factory Oceans. There has been no formal word as far as I saw. The article was not updated as of today, and I didn't see anything while searching online for anything from a statement from Sony or PlayStation regarding this. And it's truly unfortunate because many people have stated that some of the remasters actually are running worse on the newer consoles. Excuse me. And especially when you play Chrono Cross on the Switch, if you go to handheld mode, it actually drops to 720p. And some say that the PS5 version of the game runs a lot worse than the PS1 version of the game, which is a bit embarrassing, to be perfectly honest. And you think they would just create a store for old games on Sony/PlayStation for all these games that everyone is begging for them to bring over to the new consoles, and people would be willing to shove a lot of money into their hands for these things, which as discussed last week, we might actually be getting that, right, Ruby, with the PlayStation Platinum Gold Lady Gaga Kiss on
Roman
the Cheek
Holiday,
edition.
Reloaded.
Roman Holiday, Christina Aguilera, the album that flopped, all of those things.
Justice for Bionic. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? Tell me about it.
Yeah, this is definitely like a little ooky spooky, because why would they even have an expiration date programmed into a game that you purchased? That seems a little silly to me, and it definitely seems not very coincidental that PlayStation is working on their PlayStation Now service, which is supposed to have PS3 games, PS4 games, PSP games, all of those, and PS1 and 2, obviously. So it seems a little strategic that some games somehow are expiring, because this all started with like all these previous games that Ruin mentioned, and then because of Chrono Cross coming out, people were like, wait, let me actually, I did purchase that on my PS3, let me see if she's expiring, for not completely coincidental reasons. And lo and behold, their copies had expired. So to me, this brings that kind of argument to the people that, I'll just say it, y'all were right all along, but the people who were clutching their physical copies and they were like, I'm never buying digital. Digital is bullshit. And like, with physical copies, you always have ownership of your stuff. And people were like, oh my God, like, we're in the 21st century, like, please, like, y'all are doing too much. And then it's like, our copies of games are running out, and shit is taking out of stores. People have to literally like keep their consoles without doing any system reboots or anything, or else they're gonna miss like games or demos or whatever that they downloaded, and shit got delisted from stores. So like, I don't blame people at all for maintaining that sense of ownership by buying physical versions of games, because it's literally the only guaranteed way of you buying a game and it being yours, unless it's one of those physical versions where you buy it and you open it, it's like a code and you have to redeem it.
Yeah, like my my $250 Horizon Forbidden West thing where they gave me a steelbook with nothing in it.
Lovely code, gal. Lovely code.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, that to me is just like, it just keeps adding more fuel to that argument that physical is better than digital, which at this point I'm like, yeah, maybe y'all were right all along and we've all been fools. Some people are arguing though that the December 31st, 1969 is some sort of default, as far as like, the programmer girlies of the world are saying like, oh, that's just like a default thing. Like whenever they don't know like a date, it just kind of defaults to that for some reason. But you would think that PlayStation, after, getting contacted by publications, by being added on people on socials, that they would look into it and be like, oh, hi, besties, we're going to fix this. It's a mistake. Boo-hoo. And they just haven't. So, yeah. Do you think this is a quinky dinky?
It's hard in the world that we live in with the conspiracy theories that just run rampant throughout the world. It's hard to believe it. It's not hard for me to believe that Square Enix was like, I need you to nix this, nix the game because we have this remaster coming out, and I mean most of the people aren't even playing their PS3s or PS Vitas anymore, so just like just do that for us and we'll be good to go. And I think they have highly underestimated their users who have gone out and purchased old. I'm one of them. I pulled my PS Vita out today because I wanted to check the expiration dates of the games that I've purchased on here that are like considered classics, and I don't know how to do it. It's still charging anyway, but I've considered buying a PlayStation 3 too to purchase some of the older PlayStation 1 games that we do not have access to on the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, so I could properly, go through the channels of, streaming the game, because these would be games that I obviously have wanted to stream. But I mean, they're kind of forcing our hand a little bit to emulate. Right. I mean, no one emulates here. Neither of us do.
We would never promote piracy here.
No. Not on this Christian Minecraft server. Never. So they're kind of forcing our hand a little bit. They're forcing other people's hands to seek other avenues to play the original states of the games that they love so much. So I do think it's a little. Some people have said that they've been able to I think re-up it if they purchase 1 month of the PlayStation Plus thing, like an additional month, and then it magically fixes it, which I find a little odd that that's something to fix, but or that's a method to fix it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the timing of it all is just, and maybe that date had been placed in there. I'm trying to think of when I had a PlayStation 3 and when I had some older games. I feel like I looked at, the game info and it said the expiration date was, 12/31/1969. I was like, that's odd because none of these things existed then. So maybe, that's what it is. And we're all just kind of now, just waking up to the fact and seeing that. But for people to not be able to play their games, because there was the article did note that there was a PS Vita user whose entire library of games that they had purchased was inaccessible and unplayable. So I don't know. We're definitely in a gray area with this. And it sucks to be there because obviously you want to have faith in these gaming companies that provide us so much entertainment, but also they are companies they
Right.
are trying to make money from it all. So, and then you have to kind of look at the other side of it all and be like, "Ooh, I don't know, girl. Like y'all after this money, so we'll see. I don't know. I would like an official statement from them though, to say, hey, we're sorry, we're working on fixing it. But I also do not see that happening because they do not care.
Yeah. It's I see it for two reasons. Either them not caring or pride, right? And not the fun hi gay pride. It's the like big company hi gay. It's the big
Okay.
company pride thing where they're like they don't never want to make a statement being like, "Oh, we're wrong." You know what I mean? Or
Hmm.
admitting to their mistakes or whatever. So, we're just going to have to wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
Well, speaking of waiting and seeing, I have an assumption that we're going to be waiting a while for this to come to fruition. But in between episodes, we got a new Kingdom Hearts announcement. Yeah, there were mobile Kingdom Hearts games announced, updated, whatever. But everyone's here for the juicy Kingdom Hearts 4 news. The essentially the new look of the game is what kind of made most of the conversation happen online, because Sora's clown shoes are gone. R.I.P.
Thank God. Thank
Or
God.
are they?
Oh.
Du-du-du-du. So there, without spoiling anything for Kingdom Hearts 3, shit happens in Kingdom Hearts 3 that makes it so that Sora gets separated from the rest of the cast. Let's just say that. And in an interview with Famitsu, I hope I said that correctly. Please do correct me. Tetsuya Nomura was asked about the new world where the game is set, which is called Quadratum. It's a fictional world. Who cares?
Go for it. Go for it. I say go for it.
So it's supposed to be similar to like an afterworld kind of situation. And a lot of people had their, instinct that this was very early in the game. This was very much like essentially like a tech demo for what the game is going to look like. Let's be real, this game is nowhere near done. Still very early development, and that was confirmed as well in this interview. Nomura said that the room will be the base for the early part of the game. So, we've only seen early stuff yet. Basically, this quadratum world is supposed to be a fictional world that is different from reality, but from the perspective of the inhabitants of that world, they think that the other worlds are fictional and vice versa. So the idea is that this world is supposed to look realistic, quote unquote, while the others will remain looking the way that we've been familiar with them looking, which means that, were there an opportunity for Sora to cross over to the other worlds, he may not look like that for the entire game. And those were words from Nomura himself. So I'm very interested, although there was a part of me that was kind of interested in the idea of like, what if the realistic look is going to be associated with games or with franchises under Disney that are supposed to be more realistic looking, like Star Wars and like Marvel and stuff like that. It's like a part of me is interested in seeing if that will have any sort of correlation. But yeah, what do you think about all these shenanigans from the Kingdom Hearts trailer?
I mean, I was definitely blown away with how the game looked. I thought it looked very gorgeous. I honestly was not paying attention to his feet. So this really exposed a lot of you feet lovers out there, because I was not paying attention to that man's feet. I'm sorry, but I wasn't doing that. I was looking at how beautiful this game and this world looked. And honestly, I didn't even take notice to Sora. Like, obviously I was like, oh wow, like this is extremely upgraded. Like, they are going to the ends of their equipment to make this game look as visually appealing as possible. And then definitely looking at some of the pictures, the still frames that people had taken, I was like, oh wow, he does look a little different. You know, his eyes were a little bit, you know, extremely different from what they normally are. And I was like, oh wow. And they did state in the article too that this is just on Unreal Engine 4, and they're going to be doing this in Unreal Engine 5, which I've watched some YouTube videos about it, and some people are like, this, like, Unreal Engine 5 is going to be absolutely groundbreaking. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a game that definitely pushes everyone's PS5 Gen 1 to the limits. These PS5 Gen 1s are going to sound like PlayStation 4s. Like, they're going to be hot, mama. You better put them on something that they can handle, because this game, it looks brilliant. I feel like this adds another layer to the game of all of the lore and stuff that we're getting with Kingdom Hearts, that you could watch several hours of Kingdom Hearts lore on YouTube about, which I have not, because I don't have the time, nor do I care. I haven't even I've played the second game for like 2 hours. I'm like, well, okay, this is whatever. Like, don't know who this kid is, but whatever.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. So, and I never played 3, so 4 is just, I mean, although it comes out in 2025, I still will not be playing 4. I'll probably buy it right out the gate, but it will sit on my shelf and gather dust. So I think this is really cool. I think this does open the game to go to other regions, like you mentioned, like Star Wars and Marvel, this kind of multiverse feel. Honestly, I would love if somewhere in the Marvel movies with Doctor Strange or something, if we got to see maybe Sora, Donald, and Goofy appear. But how would they make them? Yeah, but how would they make them? I feel like, well, obviously they would just be CGI, but I think that would be cute if they happen to bring them into like the Marvel universe, even if it's just for like a little blip, you know, it's just like a little thing that they do. But yeah, I think this next Kingdom Hearts game is probably going to definitely expand the game and what it includes a lot more. And so that, I think that's really cool. And I'm happy that this is not just the singular, you know, like Sora is going to look like this, because obviously we're going to miss his cartoonish looking ass with his big ass shoes, because I'm sure people are complaining about that. So I'm looking forward to it, and what this new layer will add to the future of the game, which hopefully this next game is the last one and we don't have to hear about Kingdom Hearts anymore. But
or, you know,
it's confusing as lore.
My glass half full ass is like, or this is gonna be the greatest Kingdom Hearts game ever. They get their shit together and we'll get many more.
People will actually love the game and will want more, like Final Fantasy. Kingdom Hearts is the new Final Fantasy.
Oh my god. I am not a feet person either. And I actually didn't notice that, like, the clown shoes, like, the shoes were that different. Like, I always loved the clown shoes because for me it made sense with the, like, art style of the game. And so for me, when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, I guess this is just how the new game is gonna look, like, in whatever engine they were working on. Like, I was just... I didn't even think about that aspect, because in the trailer you do see Donald and Goofy and they still look like animated the way that they should look. So I didn't even think. I was just kind of like, oh, Sora is older, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, that, to me, that was just kind of like, oh, okay, he's just older. He looks different. He always looks different in every game, especially, you know, considering going from Kingdom Hearts 3 that was on PS4 generation to now PS5 generation. So it makes sense that he would look different. But I'm interested in this, like, multiverse type thing that was kind of teased in Kingdom Hearts 3, and now we're just going head first into it. And the only thing that I'm a little bit, like, not scared necessarily, but if you're not gonna have Goofy with a Captain America Shield. Don't even bother doing Marvel.
Oh my gosh. It would be so silly if they do not do it. It would be so silly if they do not do it. I completely agree.
Like, just throw
Or
the
if
whole
they-
thing away.
Yeah, like what would be the point? There would be no point whatsoever. Like the opportunity that would be missed is too big.
Right.
Like just too big. And giving Donald like what Scarlet Witch outfit, honestly.
Oh,
Can't tell me that would be cute.
yes. Or like a little WandaVision moment.
Oh my gosh, that would be really nice. If they don't include WandaVision in a Marvel like world, that would be another missed opportunity. I don't know. I guess there are so many things that we would be like, this is a missed opportunity. Why didn't you do this?
Right.
And that's how we are for, I feel like, every game. We're like, a missed opportunity, and we took note. We will be writing to your developers.
It's kind of how, like, when Kingdom Hearts 3, they were, like, announcing, like, the Tangled world and Frozen. People were like, Mama, we've had many Disney movies since then, but it's like, you know, game dev takes a lot of time. So obviously, you know, at the time that they were doing it, it was, like, the latest stuff. So they were like, ooh, Untangled, and, like, Tangled.
Untangled. That's the movie.
That's the one. With
Your hair
Rapunzel.
becomes untangled in the end. Sorry, spoiler alert. That movie's been out
Yeah,
for
it's a journey about finding a comb. Because the witch died. She's no longer, you know. Mana in the chat saying Garnier Fructis the movie, please.
Or that, do you know about the shampoo? I don't know if you had these commercials, but there was a shampoo in the US, and I guess it would just feel so good on your head, and the girl would be like, oh,
yes!
Oh my god!
Was it Herbal Essences?
Yeah, I think it was Herbal Essences. I think you are correct.
They'll be like in the forest, like, oh.
And the husband's like, what's going on in there?
I love it. Please. I need that. I need that. Thank you.
My God.
Please and thank you.
I messed up my hair.
You still look amazing, Diva. Don't even worry about it.
You.
Well, speaking of Herbal Essences and other companies, Microsoft is reportedly considering adding ads to their free-to-play games. And this isn't just like an ad pops, like there's a little pop-up window thingy on your screen. Like, they're talking about like developing technology that will make it so that if you're playing a free game and there's like a billboard on a building, then you would get like an ad in that building, like a real life ad. So, according to Business Insider, they one of the sources speculated Microsoft isn't currently interested in collecting a cut of ad revenue because it wants to provide more money-making opportunities to developers who make free-to-play games. They also said that the company is allegedly moving cautiously and intends to create a private marketplace where only select brands can insert ads into games in a way that doesn't disrupt the gameplay experience. So, you know, if you're playing this on Xbox, you're not going to get a Sony ad. That's for damn sure. Well, hopefully we'll get a Herbal Essences ad whenever we play Fortnite, and there's like
a missed opportunity.
You know, I hope we get that. I hope we get a little billboard moment. My initial reaction to this is immediately thinking about games like forcing like ad space into their games. Like, you know, you're playing like a zombie apocalyptic game, and like for some reason like the billboard on the floor is like intact. Just so you can perfectly play an ad on it. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's camp, honestly.
It is very camp, very camp.
What do you think? Do you think this would take you out of the gaming experience?
I definitely think so. I mean, I guess we have to think about these free-to-play games and exactly what they are, but I feel like this is something that could leak into other developed games, but maybe not. I just imagine like playing Fortnite and seeing an Herbal Essence ad. Like it's just like, girl, come on. Like none of these men are washing their hair with Herbal Essences.
And that's why they're the perfect target audience. They're like, oh yeah, my hair is greasy, huh?
Xbox, call us. I think we lowered the market here for you. I don't know. I guess it comes down to exactly who is getting this ad space. Like I know it's going to be, private, and the people obviously have to probably bid for these spots, but it's just like, what happens if like a snacks company, definitely a snacks company is going to break through. Mountain Dew is obviously going to be one of the first contenders to probably get in there. Probably them or energy drinks will see definitely buy ad space, but I don't know. It kind of is. It's a little bit nerve-wracking for me because I think of the critically acclaimed Oscar-winning, internationally renowned movie Emoji Movie, about how those little emojis just got attacked by was it that, or was it Wreck-It Ralph? I don't know. Either way, they got attacked by ads, and that's just like, I just kind of see that happening. It's very like I'm thinking of like Meta, like Facebook Meta, and how like, you'll be in a VR space and you'll be seeing ads and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too big about it. Like I'm not really seeing, like, okay, it's going to be privatized. It's only going to be certain people. It's only going to be in free to play games. And like, I guess they say they don't want to cut of the money, but where is this cut of the money going then? Like there is going to be some money that has to be going somewhere, other than the developers for this. And honestly, I mean, thinking of free to play games like Fortnite, they have enough money as it is. They don't need this additional money they would get for players seeing ads or clicking on ads or watching ads. Like I don't know. I don't see it. If the free to play game is that big, the developer doesn't need it. I guess maybe for smaller games it does, but then what's going to make you want to try a smaller game that has ads? Free to play, like, I don't know. That's how I feel about it. I think it's extremely messy. I think this is going to create definitely a big issue. I know it's just talks at this point. Microsoft hasn't said anything or even presented the idea to Xbox yet. So maybe we'll just see this on Microsoft PC things, which no one pays attention to Microsoft PC things anyway. So
unless you want us to, Pride is around the corner.
I'm looking for an Xbox controller.
Yes.
Maybe with a Pride flag on it.
Yes. Please.
Thank you.
Please and thank you. Just Gaming Tingz at gmail.com. Contact us, please. Yes. We're open for collaborations, opportunities, and sponsorships. Yes.
Why, yes, I'm on Windows 11. What do you mean? I love my taskbar in the middle of my taskbar. What are you talking about?
You too can watch Just Gaming Tingz on your Windows 11. Okay, anyway, that's a sample of what an ad break would look like. Microsoft, you're welcome. Anyway.
Thank you.
No, there is something like really... I mean, let's be real. Like regular ads on like a mobile game are already kind of like, okay, like this is too much. So like the idea of just like casually playing a game and seeing kind of these ads, almost even if it's like a subliminal thing and they're just kind of like in the background, it is kind of like weird and like invasive. You know what I mean? Because like it would be kind of camp. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like if we're gonna play Fortnite and like all of a sudden you hear a girly moaning in the background, it's Herbal Essences, and you're like, okay, this is camp. But you know what I mean? Like, I do think that there's an aspect of it that it's kind of like funny and it leaves room for like iconic moments. But at the same time, I don't know. I think it would look kind of weird too. It would take me out of the fantasy.
I just thought too, I feel like this could create a lot of issues for streamers of those free to play games, because if they're looking at an ad for this, the streamer isn't getting paid for that
Right.
ad. So it's just like, why am I gonna play a game that shows ads? I'm not getting paid for these ads. Maybe they'll create some creator program where you could possibly I don't know. I don't know. I
Right.
think there are a lot of things that could cause issues with these ads, and like you could get impossible trouble too. Probably, right? You think?
Yeah, especially if they Mana Russell in chat said, especially what if they use copyrighted music in the ads? That's also another thing to
Yep.
be mindful of. But we'll see.
Hmm.
This is still very early conversations, and it's natural that all these gaming companies are trying to come up with new ways of making money for themselves, for whoever they partner with. So it makes sense that they're prototyping stuff, and this could either be a thing that is announced within the next year, or it could be a thing that never takes place. Like there's
Yeah.
just so many things that are prototyped all the time within gaming that we'd be shocked at hearing, I feel like, some of those, you know what I mean? Like, especially I feel like everyone has seen like a lot of Nintendo's like trademarks and stuff like that throughout the years, and you're like, what the fuck was that about? And they never made anything about it. um so yeah. Well, speaking of Nintendo, I did not mean that. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm
Oh,
talking about Nintendo.
very clever.
I wish I
Very
could give myself
clever.
credit for that. I really do. But Nintendo. This is our like goofy story of the day. Okay, so Nintendo's eShop front page, off of the time of this article, which who knows, this was like towards the beginning of the week. Uh, it featured a hentai game that you can quote play with one hand. So this game called Hentai Uni by Big Way Games, excuse me, is/was on the front page of Nintendo Switch's digital storefront, and it was described as a puzzle game that can be played with one hand. The description also says 4 girls and 12 beautifully drawn scenes will cheer you up and help you relax. This sounds almost sponsored. It almost sounds like one of those things where like they bought ad space for like the front page, knowing that it was going to be controversial and articles were going to be made about it. But regardless, we're talking about it, so I guess you're welcome, Hentai Uni. Um, but
You're
apparently,
welcome.
truly, apparently, you need to enter your birthday date whenever you attempt to click on the game to seek out more information, according to this article, of course. This is not my personal demographic. This is not targeted at me. I do not want to play games with one hand. No, no. I guess unless it's a mobile game. Sometimes you just want to, hold your phone with one hand and play it. But
Yeah,
it's
I don't want it.
the other hand
It's
is
still
not busy, I guess. This is more like
it's
when you're
still
laying
it's still
down.
there.
Oh, look at that.
I mean, you have to
Gorgeous.
scroll down a little bit, but it's still there.
Well, what do you think? Do you think this is a way of Nintendo? Because, like, I feel like everyone associates Nintendo with, like, family friendly, but it seems like things have been changing for quite a bit.
Yeah, Nintendo said hentai. Nintendo really said, go for it, girls. Like, we want to be not just the most family owned console. We want to be the most owned console across the board. And if y'all want hentai games, we got hentai games for you. We got hentai games for you. They saw the Stream Deck and knew that people would be playing Morning Dew Valley, and they said we can do that. They said we could do that. So they are doing that. Wall Street Journal did report that several Japanese developers claimed that Nintendo has expressed willingness to publish more risque or violent titles. And I love that. That's one of my favorite quotes from the article, and also the last sentence of the article is my favorite, which Nintendo said that there are parental controls for parents on the Switch that they can utilize to protect their kids from seeing mature content. And that was Nintendo's slap on the face to, not on the wrist, that was a slap to the face to parents out there who are not watching what their kids are playing on their consoles. And I mean, you won't find these types of games on Xbox or PlayStation. PlayStation did have some games, but they cut back on them. And they have censored other games as well when it comes to nudity or gore. But Nintendo is like, whatever, it is what it is. They also have a few other hentai titles on Nintendo as well. Fantasy Tavern, Fantasy Tavern Sextet, which sextet is an ensemble like word, so that's like 6 players. So they don't actually. I mean, they could mean sex. They could mean sextet, but Panty Party. Doki Doki Pants, and there was a Hentai versus Evil game that was released as well, where people got to kill zombies, and there was some nudity and intense gore in that game as well. So this is not the first title that has made it to Nintendo's library of games on the Switch. But this is very interesting for Nintendo. I kind of like them moving in this direction, but I would not like these types of games on the Switch. I don't want to come across them, although I am prone to play.
Give us gay shit.
Give us, where are the gay games? Where is Morning Dew Farm? Where is that game on there? Where's Uncle Neighbor? Where
Not Uncle Neighbor.
Where are these games? Give us gay shit, Nintendo. Support the gays. The gays support you enough, so we need our games on there as well. Thank you.
Yeah, support the gays.
Support the gays.
This isn't necessarily surprising to me though, because like Mana Rizal said in the chat, like they have Bayonetta, Dead by Daylight, No More Heroes. I mean, I think they also at some point added Doom, and like all these games that are like known to be either, a little bit provocative or very much violent. So like I definitely think that now we're at an era where obviously these consoles can have parenting control things in place so that, you can only come across certain games if you're of a certain age. So like good on them to be like, I mean, that's not our problem. We have parenting controlling options on the system. So like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like I love that because it's not these like gaming companies' responsibilities to keep their spaces like PG only, right? Because like people of all ages play video games. And of course, you don't want, a child to come up to you if you're a parent and be like, what is hentai? And why is that on my why is that lady in a bikini? And why is her name hentai? Maybe you don't want to have that conversation. That's also another thing that like maybe you should have that conversation. But I'm not a parent, so whatever. But I think it's really good on them, honestly, to have that stance of like, y'all figure it out. We have, y'all can sue us because we have things in place to avoid this. So,
It's true. I think if they're going to say that, though, I'm going to be just the devil's advocate here. I feel like if they're going to say that, they need to have these parental controls need to be a little bit more in depth, because if you say to the parental I don't know the parental controls. I haven't been on the parental controls, but like if you can state like, I don't want my kid being able to download anything rated M or 17 plus onto their Switch, like I think that would be good because what is Fortnite rated? Is that rated E or is that rated T?
That is a great question. I will look that up. But I do think that whatchamacallit, I do think that games or like parenting controls in consoles like the PlayStation and all that stuff, it usually does give you access to even restrict how much time like that particular account can be logged in for.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I'm assuming it can also restrict certain games from being accessible, excuse me, or certain tabs, or even the store in general. I know that in some cases you can't even make a purchase without confirming or without having access to it. Fortnite is rated T14 by ESRB for violence, which means that the game is only appropriate for players 13 years old and older.
Okay. So, I mean, I feel like if you were like, if the parent were, because, parents don't know. So they could be like, well, my kid's not a teen. So why should they play any games rated teen? So but I think it also it is a parent's responsibility to do their own research and to be able to control those things, which we know. I mean, from what I've seen, most people do not. So,
oh yeah, we're from an age of people like literally we're at a game store and like someone's parents comes by and they pick up GTA and they're like, "Oh, my kid is gonna love this," and we're like, "Girl, like
Wait
that game's too much for me."
Wait a minute now, and then they get on the online. It's just even more of a mess. So,
right,
but yeah, I find this very interesting that Nintendo has allowed something like this. I still can't believe that it is in recent releases. But it is what it is.
I guess.
It is what it is. I mean, first off, they got to be able to do these puzzles. And I don't know about you, but 3x3 puzzles fuck me up. So I can't.
And these ones especially, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
Do you think they have a Rumble feature? You know what? You know what?
I think it's time to end the pod.
I think so. I think so too. I think we've talked too much. Censorship maybe is adequate here.
Oh my god!
Before we go, what have you been playing, Ruin?
What have I been playing? I've been playing a lot of horror games recently. Last year, unfortunately, I did not get to experience Spooky October with everyone. So I decided to make April Spooky Spring. And so I've been playing some spooky games this entire month. I've played Blair Witch, which I finished on Thursday, which I would say it's a somewhat disappointing game to play because you are guaranteed to get the bad ending the first time you play. Oh. So they want you are 100% guaranteed. Like I was looking at a guide afterwards because I was like, well, let's watch the other endings because I'm not playing this game again. I'm not playing this game again. And one of the guides was like, you are 98% going to get the bad ending the first time you play. And I was like, right. Well, that's messed up, but okay. So I finished Blair Witch, watched the other endings, which it was a very interesting game. I don't know if you've ever played Hellblade Senua, but it's one of those games that really utilizes your headphones, so you can hear whispers and stuff literally 360 around you. Yeah, I recommend Hellblade Senua, even if you play it on your own. Maybe you should play it with some people in a voice call because it can be they go in on you. Like the voices, like they do say some really mean stuff. So it can be a bit depressing, but it's a grade A game and I'm looking forward to that. But I played that Poppy Playtime because speaking of like parental controls and stuff, apparently on YouTube people have brought into they've brought this game, at least the character, the huggy character, the one with the big blue arms that will kill you in the first chapter. Apparently it's made its way into YouTube videos, and it's doing that same thing that girl was doing on YouTube a couple years ago, the one with the big eyes, and she would tell kids to do harmful things to themselves or to loved ones. Momo, yeah, the Momo thing. Thank you, Mana. And so I decided to play it because I have friends who have younger kids, and I have friends who don't have kids, and they were both on both sides of the fence. Like, well, my kid doesn't they can't watch anything on their iPad, anything like that. But it's made its way to YouTube Kids in videos on there, like the Momo thing did. And I was actually really disappointed with that game too, because it's only one chapter. And it probably took me, I don't know, an hour to finish. If that, probably would take you like 30, 45 minutes because it's not very long. It only took me longer because I'm awful at puzzles. And I'm trying to think what else. I played another game that I got for free from Epic Games called Death Coming, but it was death boring. Like it's like a game where you try to, like, you are Death's assistant and you have to help him like kill bad people, I guess. And they try to create lore behind this game, like, oh, we're going to this place because we're going to kill this bad person, and they would have like little cutscenes and stuff, and it's just like, just let me kill people. Like, I don't need this whole storyline behind this game, so I dropped that one pretty quick. And I've also been playing a lot of Prop Night, like a lot of Prop Night. It's really fun. I unlocked Jin, which is like their K-pop idol character, and he is my exclusive survivor skin. Like, he is the only one I play as because he is adorable. So that's really all I've been playing. I have not been playing much other than that and spooky games. And if you have any recommendations for spooky games, because I don't know what I'm gonna play after Blair Witch. So, but what have you been playing? Tell me.
Well, actually, not that much either. I'm still playing my way through Simpsons Hit and Run Game of the Year, according to myself. And I also got the opportunity to try out an early demo for Validate Struggling Singles in Your Area. And it's a fun visual novel, and you get to play as 13 different characters. Well, you can choose, obviously. You don't play as all of them at the same time. It's a super, super diverse cast of characters, LGBT, extremely LGBT, in fact. We got to play three different characters in the demo. I think there is a demo out now, and the demo that I played will be out soon, I think, or is already out now. I forget. But regardless, like, it's really, really good. They have content warnings before every route, so there will be, warnings if, there will be conversations about drugs or drug usage, or one of my favorites was homophobia, because it's like a character who, I feel like, essentially the point of that character is like themselves figuring themselves out a little bit, like, oh, that guy sucks, and like there are like little, I wouldn't say microaggressions, but kind of like, or like bordering on like what could potentially be homophobia, but you understand that the character is like, oh, I think they're questioning themselves. So it's an interesting dynamic. But yeah, a lot of different pronouns. You see the they them representation in it. You see a lot of different backgrounds being represented within the cast, like in the literally in the website itself. You get to see, and they have like the flags of like the countries that represent like the background for each character. It's super cool. They're all in like their mid to late 20s, so it's also like relatable for some of us. And even the themes in which they talk about, like they all have different professions, they all have different points of views and stuff like that. So it's really interesting seeing the types of conversations. And yeah, we got to play it on stream a little bit, And like there were a ton of situations where we're like, oh my god, this is very relatable, or like, oh god, this is like such a good representation of like what having like anxiety is like, or what all of that stuff. So it was really really cool, and it's one of those that you also have different like options depending on what you choose. You can get like, bad endings, or you can like things can go wrong in the date. So yeah, it's cool. It seems really cool. I already wish listed it. I can't wait. I hope I get an opportunity to stream the full game when it comes out. I think it's coming out in August, so like a cute little post Pride moment. And yeah, I had a ton of fun playing it. So yeah, it's
That
been
sounds really
cute.
awesome. I love that. I love that the developers put the time to do little background things like, the flags and things like that. It's little things like those that really make a game memorable in your head, that, it's going to be a game you'll talk about for and compare other games to for years to come.
For sure, for sure. And like I think um they also have different people riding different routes, so it probably represents more of their own experiences, a lot of the things that they may have gone through and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Like at the beginning of each route, you actually get like a small little credit of like, what the title is and who wrote it and all that stuff. And it's really really neat. So I super super recommend if you'd like to give it a try. The demo is out, not sponsored, but the devs did reach out to my team Rainbow Arcade to give us an early demo before it came out. So it was really cool and fun, and I definitely recommend. And yeah, let us know what
Love
you've been
that.
playing, what you've been enjoying recently. Give us some suggestions. Ruin is looking for horror game suggestions. I'm looking for suggestions in general. So definitely throw them our way. At our socials, you can find our socials in the description of this video or this podcast episode, wherever you're watching / listening to us on. And speaking of socials, where can people find you, Ruin?
Literally anywhere, Ruin Crown, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, um, Twitch, Ruin Crown. You can find me.
Yeah.
Easy. What about you, Rube? Where can everyone find you?
Oh me, oh good old me partner. I need to stop.
We brought it back. We brought it back for the end. You have to do the first full circle and do it at the
No. I don't want to torture y'all any longer.
end.
You can find this accent potentially on my Twitch channel, Project Ruby, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Twitter, Ko-Fi, and of course, the Project Ruby on TikTok and Instagram, because I couldn't have it all. Sometimes you can't have it all, and
Nope.
sometimes you just have to have a little thing to your username to make it make sense somehow.
A
But
little
anyway,
flourish.
yeah, y'all will figure it out. Please, you'll find me. If you want to find me, you'll find me. Okay. And again, if you want to hire us for your Pride shenanigans, we're at Just Gaming Tingz at gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week with yet another episode of the Just Gaming Tingz podcast. So have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yo.
Yup.